Hello, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World, and Goober the Traveling Bear is along too. And we're at the Gettysburg Miniature Toy Soldiers Shop in Gettysburg on Steinmore Avenue, and it's June 16th. And we're going to go in and see what's new at Mr. John's shop. We have not been here in about 4 or 5 months. All right, let's go in and see what's new in the diorama table and everything else. Well, here we are with Mr. John, and I have Mr. John with a good mic. So tell me what's on the table today, Mr. John.
Well, first of all, hello, Bill. Nice to see you as always. And we're setting up a scenario, Drums Along the Mohawk from the movie. It's like 1939 with a very young Henry Fonda. Terrific movie, though. In any case, it's kind of that. Of course, you got the Indians attacking the frontier fort, and you have the trusty Rogers Rangers with some British regulars coming to the rescue.
All right. Boy, this table, what is this, 12 foot?
12-foot table, 4.5 by 12.
And can you tell our viewers a bit about these figures?
The figures and buildings, originally from Barzo, Barzo. They made terrific stuff, Foreign Legion forts. This was actually a Fort Apache fort, but I converted it over a little bit to French and Indian War. And the buildings are all Barzo, which is now being produced by LOD Enterprises.
Wow. Now, can you still purchase this fort, or is this out of production?
This fort is currently in production.
It is in production.
Yes.
Well, it is stunning, and the amount of Native Americans you have. Now, I see there's an Army in Plastic Native. I recognize that.
Yeah, there's a few of all different manufacturers: Barzo, Marx,
Do you think,
Armies in
how
plastic.
long did this one take you to set up?
This was pretty quick. It's pretty simple, and it's always fun, so you don't even notice the time. You just enjoy setting it up, and we like to wow the kids and let them in and kind of inspire them.
Well, let me hit the other side here. And so you got your cannon guarding the gate, just like in the movie. Now, the fort, Drums Along the Mohawk, Mr. John, is the Old Stone Fort in Schoharie, New York. And this year, the Goober calendar, all the money for that is going to that fort this year. So it's
How
neat
cool.
that you have the Drums Along the Mohawk game set up. I love this native that's climbing up the wall. Now, that's phenomenal. And this fort is just incredible. All right, well, I'll get a couple still pictures too for this.
Okay.
So, Mr. John, who made these canoes?
Again, those are Barzo miniatures, uh, war canoes, and a British landing party.
The British Landing Party. And those are available also, right?
Yes, as far as I know, they are.
Well, quite amazing. So, Mr. John, this wonderful war game you set up, if a customer came in with a few $1,000s, let's say 5 grand, what would you say?
So I'll help you carry it out to your car.
All right. Well, I notice you've done a lot of work in here. I haven't been here in about 5 months.
Hmm.
Can you show our viewers a little bit what's changed in this room?
Well, we added some new cabinets and we filled it up with a collection of World War One tanks and figures that we purchased of all manufacturers: Britain's King and Country, Jenkins.
Wow, look at all those Renault tanks in there. And this is 54 132nd scale, right, Mr. John?
That's correct.
And there's a big Sherman up there. It's always neat to look up in the rafters of Mr. John's shop. I never even heard of a Thunder Road Ram and Wreck survival game. Is that sort of like Mad Max, I guess?
Yes, it is.
And then what do we have along the wall over here?
These are mostly overfill from our other shop. A lot of World War II, some Vietnam, and sorted World War II figures.
Boy, this World War One stuff is phenomenal looking. And then, of course, when you look up in the rafters at Mr. John's shop, there's a Mars Attack guy up there. And you still have some of the play sets, it looks like. Wow. And then, of course, we have the peg bag figures here. Boy, that Siege of Yorktown, that looks phenomenal. Now, is that just a box, Mr. John, or does that actually contain figures?
That's just a box, Bill. Of course, you can fill it up with figures, but
It's really neat.
it comes as an empty box.
Okay. Mr. John, on this side, I see you have Davy Crockett and the Alamo. Would that be one of the most popular of the Marx play sets that were produced?
Certainly one of them. Probably the uh, most popular, I would say, is their Civil War series, the Giant Blue and the Gray being the holy grail of toy soldiers and boxes. Also, Battleground was very, very popular. Actually, anybody back in the day who got a Marx playset under their Christmas tree, that was Christmas in a box for them.
Okay, and at Historicon, I turned an old Navarone into Mount Iwo Jima.
Nice.
So, and I know you have a couple Navarones here, and for the Marx play sets. So,
Very good.
what do we have on this last wall before we move to the other room?
Again, mostly overstock from the other shop. We're constantly filling it with new products that we have in. We've just added a bunch of painted 54 millimeter plastic figures, and we're going to be constantly adding and improving is the plan.
Well, you're all stocked up for this summer season here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I'll pause the camera here, Mr. John, and we'll go check out the rest of the shop. I will just swing over here and mention to our viewers that if you are looking for accessories, here's barbed wire, horses. Now look at that. I know Walt Leach could use these buffaloes for his pony war games. And there's Fort Apaches, wall sections. I mean, Mr. John has it all one-stop shop. All right, we'll go out into the other room next. Well, here we have John Jr., Mr. John, and Goober the Traveling Bear working diligently. And we're going to hit the pegged wall section. And once again, I'll do my best not to go too fast. It seems like I get the most complaints that I go too quickly on this peg wall. So here we go. We got American Civil War soldiers. Those are old Marx recasts. They look fantastic. Romans and barbarians. Tons of American Civil War, which of course we have to have. We're in Gettysburg. Now, Union infantry. Now this jumped right out at me. Italian soldier set. Really neat. And then Mr. John pointed out he's got new BMC Battle of Waterloo French infantry in. Now down along the bottom, there's Japanese tanks, landing craft, Sherman tanks, trucks, stone walls. Now Mr. John wanted me to point out the American Civil War wagon set. He says these are selling really well. $24, 2 wagons and horses, ambulance. And then the Pickett's Charge, American Civil War set. Battle of Saipan. These are just like the old Marx play sets. D-Day, tank battle. Okay, well, we've hit the wall, and we will look up at the ceiling. Let me focus in. We have the shores of Tripoli, Battle of New Orleans, Rogers Rangers, the Daniel Boone play set, Battle of Yorktown. Wow, and there is one of those really sought after blue and gray battle sets and a couple different size boxes from Marx. Everyone had to have a Fort Apache. Mr. John has several versions. There's the World War II battleground. And there's another Fort Apache and another Alamo, Fort Apache. Remember the Alamo? We're going to have to ask Mr. John how many Alamo play sets were actually made. Okay. Well, as I've always mention you have to look up at Mr. John's ceiling and rafters. It's got all those Milton Bradley games, including Broadsides and Boarding Parties, the pirate game. That's relatively rare. And then below that, he has all the old Marx metal buildings. Looks like the whole set. Now, I did have a viewer from Ohio ask me about these paints. And you really just have to email Mr. John about paints if you need something. And I'm sure him or John Jr. can help you out. Now, let's continue our... These little collectible figures are great. And I remember getting one of these at the Gettysburg Visitor Center when I was probably 10 years old. Mr. John has wargaming supplies, realistic trees. Now, I can't do justice with the amount of figures. This video could be hours long. There's so much here. So we'll just do a couple snippets. Wow. You got to look at the rafters. Now, here we have a Navarone, and way in the back, he's got a couple. He's got the box. He's got the Navarone playset. Got an ME-109. There's just so much to see here. Zulu War, Lancers, British Infantry, and we'll zip over here gently. Roman soldiers, and it's really neat. He has the old comic book plate behind him. Isn't that neat? All right, we'll pause here for a moment. Coming back here on this side, he has quite a large collection of armies in plastic and Airfix in 132nd, and a lot of board games. I always check out his board games, and it looks like he's sold quite a few in the last few months. And then he has new product that's replaced it. Things don't stay here very long. They don't collect dust. Enormous amount of models. Wow. There's a set here, $384 Hannibal. Roman and Carthaginian struggle for supremacy. Warlord games. I also see some bolt action stuff here. This is your one-stop shop for your hobby stuff. Now, the American Civil War Guts and Glory box, Black Powder Epic Battles. What's neat about these is they're almost pre-ready to go. They're on strips and easy to paint. And the Gettysburg Battle Set, $234. That's a great price. And look at that. More than 2,000 figures. Amazing. Okay, then we're going to swing around the other side. So if you need 1/32 54mm cannons, Mr. John has them all right here. And I know for a fact Jim Purdy, who did the giant Pickett's Charge game at Historicon last year, all his Britain artillery pieces were purchased right here at Mr. John's shop. And there they are. And that's what he used. They look stunning on the table. As we cruise around this side, well, I always have to mention this. The IMEX Toy Soldier Company is owned by Bill Molyneux, but Bill Molyneux of Brooksville, Florida, and not this Bill Molyneux. But I have had beers with him, and we chit-chat once in a while on Facebook. Very nice fella. So this is the 172nd zone. A lot of Airfix the HO figures, and I'm sure you'll recognize these boxes. And then below there, we have the 28mm plastics and more board games. Now there's some old classic board games. Bismarck Battle of the Bulge, Avalon Hill. Oh my goodness, Mr. John always is getting more and more stuff. You know, you can just go through the tubs looking for things. You could spend an hour in here going through everything. Here he has a plastic tub of the old SPI magazine board games. And we cruise along. And then way over here in the corner, he has a small library of research books, wargaming books, painting guides, and a lot of rule books. Over there, he even has some military DVDs. And I'll swing over to this side. Now there's a lot of plastic bags, and they do a lot of glare. But I need to mention he's got that tank battle game. I remember having that. So these, look at that. That is really cool. So he's got a lot of stuff on pegs, and look at that, 1/72 little Ziploc bags. Got a ton of modern armor, it looks like. It's really hard to video plastic bags at times. But we have a lot of Perry figures here. And Victrix. I know they're very popular. Build an army quickly. And then in his display cases over here, Civil War figures galore. And you look up and he's got a couple remote control. There's a tiger and a Stug. Where's this Stug? There's Treasure Island. Braddock's Defeat. And this video, by the way, is helping this video, the money this video raises will be donated to Braddock's Battlefield History Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You know, this display case looks new. Very neat. Very lifelike figure there. The armor in this case is incredible. What scale is this, Mr. John?
This is 60mm.
60mm. Okay.
30.
Mr. John, I also have to say thank you for carrying my games, Bill Molyneux Games, and there's a French Indian War Volume 2 there. And how are things here in the world of board games? Which sells more, miniatures or board games?
Well, here we sell more miniatures, but board games is a very huge hobby. And a lot of the games that we get from you, there's quite a following. I mean, people want to collect them all, basically. And you can convert, I guess, many, if not all, to miniatures, which is always a really big plus for people. I have a couple of other things here as well that I'd like to show you, Bill. This is a 40mm Elastalon made in Germany, probably from the 70s. And they came pre-painted. They're all plastic. And they have had a whole series of Romans and Gauls and a bunch of different figures, Vikings,
now,
knights.
Are they plastic or metal, Mr.?
They're plastic. Just very highly detailed plastic.
And are these discontinued now?
Yes.
So that's quite collectible, I bet.
Oh yeah, yeah. The stuff they made was super nice. They also made it in 70mm as well.
Well, I think your shop is always changing. I haven't been here in several months. It's amazing the difference every time I'm here and the new products you get. And Goober the Traveling Bear loves to visit. He doesn't really work very hard anywhere I take him. You guys have anything else? You got a robot back there. What's that robot doing?
My
Chase.
son's favorite toy here.
Well, Mr. John will sell it if you're not paying attention. All
Yep.
right. Well, thank you for letting me make a video. Is there anything else you want to say, Mr. John?
No, we're good, Bill. Appreciate you coming by again, of course.
All right. And thank you again for letting Goober and I come and pester you. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and visit Mr. John's Gettysburg Toy Soldiers Shop in Steinway Avenue in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Awesome.